I had to write a script for this because this is a revelation I came to as a player. Like, yeah, someone trying to go pro because I feel like there's so many videos out there about how to improve at CS, but people don't talk about like how to go pro and shit because there's like so much beyond just improving at CS. There's like the whole mental game behind it, just getting yourself together as like a person. All right, so this is something I came to a conclusion about, right? Because I've been like I'm trying to go pro, right? I've been grinding the fuck out of this game, and you always hear people like, bro, you gotta constantly grind, you gotta keep this game on your mind all the time, you know, like you gotta live, breathe, and you gotta eat Counter Strike, live, breathe, and eat Counter Strike, you know, all that. Constantly think about it. And I was listening to this book called The Art of Learning, which is a really good book if you're like trying to like get really good at something. And this guy was talking about how at the top level of all sports, anything competitive, those competitors, they don't stress and study before their big matches. What they do is they relax and they just chill out. And they'll do that during games too. He also talked about how tier one competitors in all competition sports, anything with competition to it, anytime there's a break or downtime in their sport, they're resting. And because rest is important. They talk about how tennis players in between like pitches and stuff, they're not leaning on one leg to one side or pacing back and forth. They're chilling out. They're resting. The guy who wrote the book was a world champion chess player. Like at these competitions when he was younger, all these kids would have their parents and coaches just hounding them with theory and like, you got to remember the 17th step of this opener, and you got to remember pawn to d4 and all this other shit, right? They're like hounding these kids with all this theory and stressing them out. But him, before his big tournaments, his dad would just take him outside and they play catch. That's all they do. They play catch. And then he'd come in, play chess, and beat everyone. And it's because you got to realize that like your brain, this is what I equate it to. Your brain is like a muscle, bro. Your brain is literally like a muscle. If you go to the gym and your goal is to try and get big, right? You're trying to put on some mass. You go bench press, and then after you're set, after you're done bench pressing, you sit there and you flex your pecs. You just sit there and you flex them, and then you go and try and bench again. You're not gonna be able to do as much weight because you didn't give your muscles time to rest in between sets. And then you finish your whole workout, right? You come home, and you're sitting there just flexing your pecs, and you're like, I gotta constantly be flexed if I want to get big, right? I gotta constantly be using my muscles. You sit there and flex your pecs. You go to sleep, you flex your pecs. You wake up, flex your pecs. Eat breakfast, you're flexing your pecs. You come to the gym the next day, you try and bench again. You're not gonna bench like 50% of what you hit yesterday because your muscles are gonna be worn out. Same shit goes for your brain, dude. If you're constantly thinking about Counter-Strike throughout the day, at night, like daydream about this shit, because this is what I was doing. Because I'm like, bro, I was obsessed with this. Like, I just wanna be so good. Like, I just gotta constantly, I gotta be on the grind. You know what I'm saying? I'm just always thinking things to improve, ideas, reviewing in my head. I'm sitting here thinking like this is the way to do it. But what happens is that when I'm playing matches and I'm studying, like those dedicated study times, those are like my sets in the gym. That's when I should be contracting my brain muscles and using it. But then when I'm done, I should be done. I shouldn't be sitting here thinking about it still because now my brain's just like the analogy is just sitting there flexing and it has no time to rest. So the next day when I come back in, I'm stuck on the same perspective that I was yesterday and just like I don't have that rested, efficient mind that I used to have. Like if you want to like improve fast, you have to grind hard and you have to rest hard, bro. Like this is something I learned like pretty recently because I've been obsessed with this game. I've been so obsessed with this game, constantly thinking about it. Example, our last league match, not this one today, but on Ancient, before the game, I was like, yo, I should probably go and like review our strat book and shit. And I thought back to that book I read and I was like, no, I shouldn't. I should just chill. So I just went in the living room and I played with my dogs. I went in the living room, just play with my dogs and just pet them and I was like, give them kisses and stuff. And I was playing with my dogs, And then I come to play the game and bro, my mind was so clear. There was like no stress. And I just was calling I just felt amazing calling. Like I just, okay, they're eco 3400. Okay, we should run this. Oh, be careful of this. Oh, you don't know Molly? Okay, so-and-so take a spot. Just like, bro, I was on my A game. And that's the thing I came to learn is that you got to grind hard and you got to rest hard as fuck. Just as much as you want to think about Counter-Strike and like learn about it, you have to like put effort into not thinking about it. That's something I had to learn to do because I just always want to aim train. I just want to play. I just want to watch demos. I just want to pug. I just always want to do this shit. And it's fucking up myself long term and it's giving me burnout. So that's the conclusion I came to. The thing I said to like shorten this up to make it like memorable too, which I'm probably going to title the video. It's in order to improve, you have to stop thinking. So that's the title. In order to improve, you have to stop thinking. When you're out of the game, like you gotta stop thinking about this shit. Put it down, bro. Come back to it later. And it's like this is the best way to approach it. Not always thinking about it. Yeah, this is pretty much dedicated for all those like Counter-Strike nerds out there that are like me, trying to go pro. If this doesn't apply to you, just keep this in the back of your mind if it eventually does, and come back to it.